My definition of the space we are in right now is everything media, meaning this is a data space. Every one of you has a data-enabled device, and you can transfer data from one another and from one in this room to one in Toronto, Paris, or Tokyo. That creates what I call a data space. We live in data space. Objects, people, and the devices can talk to one another. The UN recognized this 4 years ago. They met the International Commission on Telecommunications. They defined it as the Internet of Things, a place in which every person, object, and space is both a link and a holder of information. So if I ask you what's the meaning of life, you may have the answer, but if you don't, you say, I don't know, but I know somebody who does. This applies also to a carton of cereal. This applies to every product that could have an RFID link to anything you want to know. So now the meaning of branding, the meaning of brand management, the meaning of brand building changes, because you are not just looking at a cereal box. You are looking at real estate for information, for links. Link space. Essentially, you are all link spaces. You should monetize your device better. So the agents are millennials. Other people call them the digital generation. You probably read Tapscott's book, Grown Up Digital, and mobile online. I see a huge difference between online and mobile online. Mobile online is where IT is right now, because behavior has embraced it. So the themes of these agents are participation, empowerment, and engagement. Engagement is what brands need to understand how to do, and a great example, if you have an iPhone, download the Adidas application. It is a superb example of engagement. They are not selling the Adidas brand. They are giving you an interactive map of graffiti in Berlin. And it is a phenomenal site. This is a media for engagement. Disruptions are things you need to consider all the time, but we need to understand what is disruptive. People use the term disruptive innovation. I don't think innovation can be disruptive. It is disruptive if behavior embraces it. So at that moment, you need a business model. So we have disruptive behavior, you have disruptive technology, and then we have disruptive business. The greatest example of disruptive business is the App Store, and I will detail in a few seconds how the App Store becomes a model for other businesses. In terms of mapping a disruption, you have a disruption and you create a business design. The biggest mistakes companies make is to squeeze disruptions into the existing business. The model doesn't support the new, ever. Traditionally, why is it that we cannot cope with change? Because our existing models do not incorporate change as a constant. And I will talk about that in 1 second. So hindsight might help, but foresight is where we make money in the future. Creativity is needed for hindsight and insight, and that's tactical innovation. We are actually using this disruption with our existing equipment, but the most important thing where imagination is needed is strategic innovation. Create new services, new products, things that don't exist, things that you need to explain to people. If you find yourself in a room with people that need to know why Facebook is important, leave. So the old value chain, somebody from TELUS mentioned the value chain, so I'm very happy that I had this slide ready. We identified a user. It was a no-brainer in many cases. Rogers, anybody from Rogers? So I know what to say. Rogers grew in a phenomenal, it's a phenomenal business success lately because the user base has grown. So it's a no-brainer from that respect. A need exists, we design stuff, we develop it, we make it, we market, we service, and then the user need is satisfied. But all of this stuff does not give the user a wow. There is no magic. Because if the user knows they need something, they just feel, replenished. Oh yeah, okay, so now I'm not thirsty anymore. So where is the new business model? Well, the difference between a business plan and a business model is this. A business plan tells you how you make money. And a lot of companies are great at writing business plans, very bad at executing them. The new value chain introduces these three elements I started with: emergent behavior, emergent technology, mapping opportunities, and understands that the root of everything we have ever built as humans is motivation. What we are from the gut, not from the brain. The brain rationalizes the gut. So innovation is the first step. You define an experience, a product, and a service. You design the experience, the product, and the service, and you see how more involved this is. And you do the other things: develop, make, market, and so on. Most companies that are really productive, Apple makes $1.1 million per employee. They make as little as they can. They develop a lot, but they try to make as little as they can. They subcontract the making. This is how Apple is destroying the value chain. And anybody that looked at the SDK package, which is a superb example of supporting a developer base, investing enormous money at the front end without making a big deal out of it, and so offering something for $98. How many of you tried this package? You like it? And were you shocked by how much support you had? It is amazing. So you realize they did a lot of work before announcing the store, which means this is strategy, not tactics. So this is a tactical thing, but the entire thing was a strategy. So we have three steps: develop, test, distribute. Why wouldn't this be applicable in any other business field? Why is it that I cannot make shoes like this with Nike? I cannot fly with air? No, imagine the model. Just take it from here and apply it to your business.